So you know those people who drop a huge chunk of cash for an out-of-print series that they know nothing about? I mean, who would be crazy enough to do something like that, right? I'm so sorry. Hello all of my otaku friends, my name is Profitaku and welcome back to my channel for another manga haul. We have a wide array of manga today, from pre-orders to an out-of-print series and even a wonderful package from our good friends at Yen Press. Stay tuned. So this first section here are going to be all the manga sent to me from Yen Press. As always, thanks so much to them for continuing to support this channel and allowing me to promote their catalog of manga so that you guys can put some new series on your radar. Let's start with the smaller manga here. First up is Laid Back Camp, Volume 13. This is such a wholesome series, one of the most underrated manga in my collection. Phenomenal slice of life. Cute girls going camping, super educational. It's like you're there with them. The backgrounds are incredible. Just being able to see the different landscapes of Japan and everything that Japan has to offer in terms of camping and all the different environments. It's so much fun. I have an absolute blast with this series, and this is the highest recommendation from me. Next appears a new Volume 1, a manga adaptation of a light novel, and it is Sugar Apple Fairy Tale. This series is set in a world where you have fairies who are sold off to the highest bidder, and it follows this princess here who has a fairy bodyguard as they go through an adventure together. Seems quite interesting. I can't wait to see the dynamic between the characters. The artwork looks really good. You know, I've really been enjoying these manga adaptations of light novels. The last few that I've been reading have been paced really well, and the artwork has really stood up to make me want to continue with the manga adaptation. Normally I'm a light novel type of person. I don't necessarily like adaptations, but I'm definitely excited to give this one a shot. And yet another series to put on your radar, we have Sunbeams in the Sky. This is a really interesting premise. It follows two twin sisters who are identical, and one asks for the other to cover her at school, except there's a really interesting vibe going on between the characters, especially between the twin sisters and the sisters with their classmates. If I can describe this in any way, it's mainly a slice of life with a tinge of romance and a little sprinkling of drama in there, so it definitely has a lot of different flavors. This is actually only a 3-volume series, so this is definitely a cheap investment to get into, just a nice wrapped up story. I really did enjoy Volume 1, so I do recommend. Next up here is one of my favorite ongoing series, Tsubaki-cho Lonely Planet Volume 3. For those of you who don't know, it follows this girl right here who's trying to pay off her father's debt by being a live-in maid at this guy's house. The characters have a very interesting dynamic with each other. She's obviously a high school teenager and he's an adult male, but I think that with this age gap romance, they've handled it really well, which is why I can recommend it. I love the artwork. I love the character design. I love the pacing of this manga. It does a great job to keep things moving, and this is one of my favorite series that I've been reading so far in the shoujo demographic, so yes, pick this one up. Next up here is I'm Quitting Heroing Volume 2. I read Volume 1 a couple months ago. I thought it was okay. It's a little bit of a different vibe on the fantasy take. You've got this guy who just is the hero and then everybody turns against him, so he quits heroing. I don't want to quit on this manga yet, so I'm gonna give it another try. I'm so sorry, that was terrible. Next up here is one of my favorite isekai that I've read. This is Volume 6 of Eminence in Shadow. This is really unique. It follows a guy who just wants to be the background character. He wants to be the Eminence in Shadow and work in the undergrounds. So he makes up this story in this isekai world about all these things that are happening. And it's supposed to be a joke, but actually it's all coming true and he just has no idea. This is a phenomenal manga adaptation. The jokes really land in the manga. The face gags are great. The character design is great. I highly recommend this series. I just really laugh at everything that's going on. I think it's paced really well. It gets rid of some of the inner dialogue from the light novel, which I think is a really good thing because it helps keep this manga going. Next up here is a boys love light novel. We have Sasaki and Miyano First Years. It just follows all of our character in different side story scenarios. I'm excited to get into this once I get into the main series. Next up here is Run on Your New Legs Volume 4. I really enjoyed the first 2 volumes of this 5-volume series about a boy who gets in an accident. He loses his leg, he loses the ability to play soccer, so he starts running track instead. beautiful characters, really interesting story, really educational when it comes to disabilities and learning about paraplegics and all the amputees and all the different prosthetics and stuff like that. It's really, really interesting. Lots of great character dynamics. It's paced well, lots of cool events too. So I cannot wait to see where this series goes. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and wait for volume 5 and then binge the last 3 volumes of the series. Next up here is a manhwa. What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, volume 1. This follows a secretary who's been working with this man for 9 years, and then she calls it quits. She says, "I don't want to work with you anymore." And he's just taken aback because he's just the head honcho. He's super arrogant and he goes, "You don't want to work for me anymore?" So this manhwa explores this relationship as she's trying to move on with her life and he won't let her. It's really, really interesting. Of course, with this being a manhwa, you're going to get the full color pages, you're going to get high quality pages, and you're going to get a really nice edition. So yeah, I don't know really anything about this manhwa. I've heard good things about it, so I cannot wait to check it out. Next up here is Kowloon Generic Romance Volume 3. I absolutely loved Volume 1. It's got everything that I want. It's a slice of life manga with a little bit of a drama sci-fi twist. Follows this girl who lives in this slum, big city, and she's going around as a real estate agent, but not everything is the way that it seems. So now that I've got 2 more volumes stockpiled here, I'm going to give Volume 2 and Volume 3 a read very soon. And next up here is a new series, probably one of my most anticipated series of 2023, and that is K-On! Shuffle. So this is a spin-off story of the main series, and it basically follows a new cast of girls as they're looking to start a band, and they were influenced from our main characters in K-On! If you like K-On!, you like the vibe that it gave off, but you just want more of that same slice of life, hilarious music vibe, then this is going to be the manga for you. Yes, it is a 4-koma, but it flows very well. I had an absolute blast with this, and you're going to love it too. Speaking of 4-koma manga, we have Doomsday with My Dog Volume 2. This was a really interesting Volume 1. It follows a girl and her dog as they go through this post-apocalyptic world, but it's not a serious manga. It's a comedy manga. What makes this manga super funny is the dialogue between the dog and the girl. Super witty, super like look inside yourself, but then there's the punchline and then it's all supposed to be a gag. It's a beautiful edition, full color manga, crazy characters, even crazier antics. I just love this manga. I cannot wait to read Volume 2. Last up here in this section is a manhwa, The Boxer Volume 2. You know, Volume 1 was kind of a letdown. It seemed like it was all action, no substance, boys just beating each other up, and honestly, it wasn't really my cup of tea. The only reason why I'm giving this another volume try is because of the author, JH, who is the same person who did The Horizon, which is one of my top 20 favorite series of all time. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one another try. It's definitely on the chopping block. If I don't like this volume, I'm definitely gonna drop it, but I'm really hoping that this is a slow burner and we're gonna get that awesome JH storyline that I absolutely love. This next section is gonna dive into the out of print series that I picked up and the poor financial decisions that I made that got me here. This originally was a light novel series that was put into several different manga adaptations, but here we are with The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. So this story follows our main character, Suzumiya, as she starts high school and she joins the SOS brigade that goes around the school and encounters supernatural beings. You know, financially, I didn't do too bad for an out of print series. I got 45% off retail for all the volumes, which is absolutely insane considering some of these volumes go for hundreds of dollars, but I am really risking the biscuit. I have no idea if I'm gonna like this, but I think I'll be able to resell it with no problem if I don't like it. So that first series that I showed you is 20 volumes long, and then we also have some spin-off series. Right up here we have The Disappearance of Nagato Yuki-chan. This actually is an adaptation of one of the light novels. It's a 10-volume manga adaptation, which is really good, and it follows one of the side characters here, so that's really cool. So I cannot wait to see what she gets into. Next up in this franchise is a 12-volume series, but it's a total gag manga. This is called, now bear with me here, The Melancholy of Suzumiya Haruhi-chan, The Untold Adventures of the SOS Brigade. Like I said, this is a gag manga, but at 12 volumes, it's pretty extensive, but as you can see, it is a mix of a 4-koma and a normally paneled manga. I can't wait to get into this one. I love types of series like this that are just absolutely hilarious, turn your brain off fun. So as I continue to read this series and fall in love with the characters, I'm glad I got this so I can get more enjoyment from them. I got the same deal with this one as I did with Yuki-chan. I got the first 9 volumes from the Facebook deal, and I picked 10, 11, and 12 off of Right Stuff. Finally, we have 2 anthologies from this franchise. First up, we have The Misfortune of Kion and Koizumi. This one was still in stock on Right Stuff, so I picked it up there. This is actually pretty low rated on my anime list, so I don't have any expectations expectations for this one, but like I said, it's an anthology following the boys from the cast of characters, so we'll see how this one goes. And finally, being released after the main series was done, we have the celebration of Haruhi Suzumiya, the Haruhi comic anthology. Bunch of different mangakas coming together and writing stories from this franchise. I'm really glad that I picked up this series all in one go for such a great price. I think I'm really gonna enjoy it, and I just can't wait to see why everybody loves this series. This last section here is gonna dive into all the pre-orders I got, or just things that I picked up along the way because I wanted to. First up here is one of my most anticipated new series of 2023 from one of my favorite mangakas, Satoshi Muzukami, same mangaka who did Spirit Circle and Lucifer in the Biscuit Hammer, but here we are with Sengoku Yoko. This is a samurai supernatural manga, very highly acclaimed, pretty long running at 20+ volumes, and this is being released by Tokyo Pop, so that's really interesting in these small tankobon volumes. So of course it's Satoshi Muzukami artwork, hopefully a phenomenal Satoshi Muzukami story. This is his second highest rated manga in his catalog, so I do have high expectations for this manga. Man, I really hope that I like it. Next up here is a category I don't necessarily get into a lot, but it is a boys love one shot, and it is Welcome Back Areola. Now this is another Tokyo Pop release, I can't believe it, but here's the big kicker of why I picked this up. If you recognize the artwork, this is from the same mangaka who does Skip and Loafer, so it's really cool to see their other works get published in English. Big thanks to Tokyo Pop for releasing this. I cannot wait to read this. I love their artwork so much. The character designs are adorable, and I love that it is a one-shot, so I can just get everything done in one go. Next up here is a volume that finishes a series for me. We have Psycho Pass Volume 6. This is the coveted Volume 6 that did not get printed in the original run of the series. It stopped after 4 volumes and they decided to cut it. But here we are with Volume 6. Super happy that Dark Horse decided to finish this series and we get this prequel series in our collections. I highly recommend you check out the original anime. If you like Cyberpunk Edge Runners or ID Invaded, this gives off the same exact vibe. Next up here is one of my favorite rom-com series of all time, Kaguya-sama Love is War. This is volume 25. This was one of the first rom-com series that I ever read when I first started collecting manga. I still love it now. We are in the final arc, so this thing is wrapping up very soon. I cannot wait to see how this one ends. Here we are with a really coveted volume, and I'll tell you why here in a second, but this is Die Dark Volume 5 by Q Hayashida. So here's the story with this one. I pre-ordered this a long time ago from the 7C sale, and a lot of other people pre-ordered this one too, but Right Stuff Anime only got about 150 copies from 7Cs, so they couldn't even fulfill the pre-order, so it was kind of like a lottery to see who would actually get Die Dark Volume 5. I was one of the lucky ones who got it, but I know a ton of people who didn't get it, and it's been out of stock for a couple months now. So 7Cs, you kind of got to reprint this one for us. The worst part about it is that I actually still haven't even started this series, but I love Q Hayashida, I love Dora Hidoro, and I know I'm going to love this one. Next up here is Rainbow Days Volume 3, new Shoujo Beat series. I really loved the first volume. I even did a whole review on it, and then we got the second volume, and it kind of did some side antics that I wasn't necessarily a big fan of. I just wanted to keep going with the story, so I hope this one puts us back on the railroad tracks and I can get these fun, beautiful hijinks of these 4 boys who are trying to find romance. Finally, we get a Shonen Jump series in here. We have Kaiju number 8, Volume 6. This is more of a dark, edgy Shonen Jump manga, which I don't necessarily tend to gravitate towards, but I really do enjoy this one because I really like the cast of characters. I like the balance between the comedy and the seriousness, and of course, I like the kaiju, so that's really cool. These next 2 volumes are 2 volumes that I picked up today. We have Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, Volume 14. This relationship with Nagatoro and Senpai continues to get cuter and cuter with every volume. I absolutely love this rom-com series, and it is slowly creeping up into my top 5 rom-coms of all time. I just think the artwork is just super unique too. Super cute, great character design, and I absolutely love the cast of characters and the different hijinks that they get into. And the other volume I picked up from the bookstore today was Tokyo Revengers Omnibus 9 and 10. I had just read through 7 and 8 last night. I said, I gotta drop everything and go pick the next one up. So this omnibus should start a new arc. We had some crazy things happen at the end of the last omnibus, so I cannot wait to see where Tokyo Revengers goes from here. And the biggest complaint for a lot of people, which is the art, is slowly getting better. Yes, the proportions are a little bit weird, but yes, it is getting better. Next up here is a series that I thought I would never see again, but here we are finally with a new volume, and that is To Your Eternity Volume 18. This volume right here should wrap up the arc that we're currently in. I hate the direction of this new arc. Volumes 13 to 17 have encompassed this new arc, and it has been absolutely terrible in my opinion, completely destroyed the whole vibe of To Your Eternity, and I know a lot of people feel the same way, so this might be my last volume of To Your Eternity that I'll ever read. Volumes 1 to 12 of To Your Eternity are a masterpiece of a manga, 10 out of 10, and if it had ended at volume 12, perfect manga, seriously perfect. But then Oma decides to keep going with the story, and that's where the problems start, because we lose the whole vibe of the story, what makes the story great, and all the characters start doing things that I just don't like. So we'll see, but I'm not holding out hope. Next up here is volume 8 of Dress Up Darling. Yes, Dress Up Darling, everybody knows what it is. It still is a great rom-com. I love the cosplay aspect. I love what I learned from this manga, and of course it's a very cute relationship even with all the fan service because it is plastic wrapped. Here's a volume that I'm so glad we finally got. We have the final volume, volume 12 of Dead Demons Destruction. Volume 11 of this manga left such a huge cliffhanger. I cannot wait to see the ramifications of what happened and see how this manga wraps up in the last 9 chapters. You know, after Goodnight Poon Poon, I definitely have my reservations about Inio Asano, so I really hope this one fulfills my expectations. Next up here is a new volume 1. We have Boys Abyss. This is a super dark manga that's been really shooting off on MangaTube right now, so I cannot wait to get into this one and just see what all the drama is about. But it basically follows a boy whose name is Reggie, and he just lives a really bad life. He's in a bad town with a bad family support system, and then some bad things happen and we keep going in this spiral of destruction, I guess. And the last thing that I picked up this month is actually a big chunk of a series. Well, it was supposed to be the whole series, but 3 volumes got lost in the mail, so I still don't have the whole series yet. And that series is volumes 2 and then 5 to 11 of Kinuro Mosaic. This is a very simple manga. It's a 4-koma slice of life series following a group of girls in Japan going through high school and doing high school things. Doing the sports festival and the culture festival and getting into hilarious hijinks, doing extracurricular activities, you know, same old, but I do like these type of series. I really love things like K-On! Where it's just super slice of life, super fun, super relaxing. I really do like 4-koma, and I'm looking for another 4-koma series, so I cannot wait to get started with this one whenever I get volume 1. Volumes 1, 3, and 4 are in stock on Right Stuff, so once the Yen Press sale comes up, I will go ahead and pick up those 3 volumes and complete this set. And that is it for my manga haul for the month of April. I finally got a manga haul below triple digits, thank the Lord. But we'll see how next month shakes out. It's going to be a very light month next month because I am moving to a new state next month. I'm starting a brand new full-time job, so I decided to stop buying manga for the time being so that I can move the rest of this. As always, if you enjoy my videos, please hit that like button, tap the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you know when more of my videos come out, and I will see you in the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.